Before I start this video, I just want to say that everything that is mentioned is based on facts and information known within the Flight Simulator community, either through FS Labs themselves, their partners, or official notices. Due to the serious nature of this video, I aim to make this as balanced as possible to ensure that both sides of the argument are given as truthfully and factual as possible. In no way am I attempting to slander the name of any person, company, or thing mentioned in this video, with the aim of this being to inform people, no more, no less. If I do, however, get any information wrong, I sincerely apologise, and I will be sure to amend and correct anything from any party involved. One thing that has come up a lot in the past couple months in the flight simulation community are Flight Sim Labs, their products, and the biggest of all, their CEO, Lefteris Kalamaras. From their recent DRM policies to how the company all began, in this video, we're going to take a look into FS Labs and what is happening surrounding them in general. Before we get started though, we're going to have to go back all the way to September 1999, when a fairly new company, Precision Manuals Development Group, or PMDG for short, hired themselves consultant and technical director, Lefteris Kalamaras. He lasted at the company for 9 years before leaving in 2008 and starting up FS Labs with a colleague, Andrew Wilson. Not much is known about Lefteris' time at PMDG, but if you do remember their MD-11, one bit of criticism that it had was that sometimes the DRM would fail and would completely nuke your FSX install, rendering the entire simulator useless. It has always been believed that Kalamaras was behind this, as it was later revealed that he owns the intellectual property of the aircraft, including the code. The fact that he owns the code for the aircraft and not PMDG themselves is also the reason why the aircraft was taken off sale and all support was dropped the day he left the company. Come 2008, Lefteris and Wilson, who was known for his highly popular SST sim project on Flight Simulator 2004, co-founded a new company, Flight Sim Labs. Their breakthrough product was a Concorde X, which for many was, and still is, the definitive Concorde simulation for any platform. Being a study-level aircraft, it really set the tone for what kind of products that they would make, and really gave them a strong future in add-on development for flight simulation. The Concorde itself still is a very popular aircraft within the flight simulator community, and for a very good reason. In 2015, they released their second aircraft onto the market, the A320X. Again, a study-level aircraft, it right away became a hit with the community, and many purchased it on day one. Once again, they showed that they could make some of the most fantastic add-ons for Flight Simulator, with many getting excited about what they were next to release in the future. In December 2016, however, it was noted that the FS Labs A320 had a number of cockpit components and parts that came from the Aerosoft A320. This, however, was resolved behind closed doors and turned out to be an honest mistake and human error, where the model developers were comparing the Aerosoft cockpits to their FS Labs one, and had mistakenly deleted the wrong files once the comparison was done. No love was lost between the two companies, and it was announced on the Aerosoft forums what had happened, and that Aerosoft were happy to accept their apology, with the FS Labs A320 updated to remove any accidental models included. In 2017, Flight Sim Labs announced their intention to port the aircraft over to Prepare 3D version 4, and also to create the Airbus A319 to their lineup. At the Flight Sim Expo and Flight Sim Show in 2017, there was also a working version of the A319 on show, and I was also able to have an interview with Kalamaras and Wilson themselves, where we talked about the future of FS Labs and the products they had in development. I personally was quite excited about their future, as they did have a lot of interesting stuff in store for us, including the new bug splatter window effects that they've recently showed off. In February of this year, someone on the /r/FlightSim Reddit page noticed that when installing the aircraft, a file named test.exe was dumped before being deleted. Digging into that file, it turned out to be a Chrome password logger from the website securityexploded.com. Alarm bells started ringing, and news sites picked up on this, as people were fearing that this was being used by the company to collect password information and compromise user data. Flight Sim Labs, however, did respond swiftly, explaining that this was a part of their DRM and was only used to combat piracy and nothing else. The file would only be activated if a certain pirated product key was used, and information would only be extracted if a certain login was found, that of the person distributing the product itself. A full apology was made, and the installer was updated to ensure that this file was removed completely from the installation process. While it did hurt the trust from some Flight Simulator fans, the removal of the file and explanation for most was acceptable, and this saga did eventually calm down. Most recently, however, it was then spotted that during the installation process, a file, cmdhost.exe, was found being dumped into the System32 folder. Once again, this was picked up on by the Flight Simulator community and led to more alarm bells being rung. The fear of the MD11 folder deletion issue had sprung up again, and people wanted an explanation. This came from Simon Kelsey, FS Labs marketing and PR manager, who explains that this was only being used as part of the eCelerate's DRM software so that the aircraft could be unlocked and activated within the simulator. Back in April on the FS Labs forums, someone also brought this up where they had issues installing the A320 and their system denied putting the file in the System32 folder, where Calamaras then explained what the file did. To many, the only issue with the cmdhost.exe file is the name of it, and also the fact that it sits in the System32 folder. Matthias Koch of Aerosoft also confirms this, and explains that this was something that Aerosoft themselves had trialed in the past, but chose not to go forward with due to issues with how the process works, namely 12% of users being unable to install the aircraft, and support channels growing by 240%. He does, however, mention that Aerosoft have no involvement in this issue, and would very much like to stay away from it, only being an observer to the whole debate. FS Labs, however, decided to take this one step further. Due to the heavy response from those on the /r/FlightSim Reddit page through comments and internet memes, much of which they claim to be libelous, legal action was threatened towards the subreddit on the grounds of defamation. This process is very much still ongoing, and it is believed that there is a conversation going on behind closed doors between FS Labs and the subreddit owners. As for the result of this, that is still very much yet to come. As mentioned before, anything mentioned in this video is fact and balanced with the aim to keep my own views out of this and ensure that no false information was included to sway the opinions of people watching this video. I will, however, say that FS Labs themselves are a very reputable company, and no matter what, they do still make some damn good aircraft that we'd all like to see more of in the future. While I'm not going to make any comments on this or previous debates that are ongoing, all I will say is that it's a very sad day for flight simulation as a whole. With the recent news of Flight Sim World's closure, and now the issue of developers versus the community, all this does is tarnish the reputation of the community as a whole. I do, however, hope that this can all be resolved, and that a mutual respect on both sides can be gained once all this is over.